Hello again, welcome back to round two with our boxer friend. It's always good to be friendly with boxers. Dan Slaney, light heavyweight, big fight at Doncaster Dome Saturday night. Kevin Gage, our rising star pundit of Sheffield United and Aston Villa fame. Yeah.
I read your column just outside. Just before.
Is.
Very good.
It is an excellent column.
Very good.
It really is.
A column for the fans, I like that.
Yeah.
It's good.
And he's got parity with what he earns here, I'm hearing. The column. Haven't you? I think you went to
It's a bit less, which is not actually it's not actually possible, but it is.
Less than
Less
well,
than
you don't get the pint. And James,
Yes,
who needs
absolutely.
no introduction whatsoever. Just before I do though, Matt Pinder, okay, has sent a very nice tweet saying, "Very articulate, Dan lad. Good luck Saturday night."
Thanks,
All right?
Matt. Much appreciated.
And I know
buddy.
you play with him in the Reds v Blues charity games.
Against him in the Reds versus
Yeah.
Blues, but they're a great bunch, and it's great to do that every year.
Thanks for your messages.
yeah.
Within reason, they might get
Thanks,
read out.
Matt.
Within reason.
Well, yeah, I was actually going to say, talking about transfers now on this roundup, Blades bringing in Wolves centre-back Ethan Ebanks-Landell and Burnley left-back Daniel Lafferty, both with a bit of pedigree on season-long loan deals. Keelan Lavery, of course, signing on Tuesday night, was unveiled just before that really exciting, jam-packed Checker Trade Trophy clash on
Look,
Tuesday
it wasn't
night.
as bad as you think.
Yeah, I'm sure it wasn't, you know. But
not when you get paid for being there.
well, exactly. You can't grumble. I think most fans would have had to be paid to go.
Well, Leicester put out a decent team with two or three recognisable. Well, a couple of players who played.
What do you think? So, who caught your eye?
Not many for Leicester, I have to admit, but it was clearly competitive. They were going for it. They had Matty James in midfield, who missed the whole of the title-winning season. Experienced player.
Damari Gray.
Yes, no, he did.
He's a club,
and you
obviously.
would expect that. But and Sheffield United put out a strong team.
Yeah.
Chris Wilder, and most of them played reasonably well as well. It finished 0-0. Forget the penalty. I think actually, although he couldn't admit it, there might have been a sigh of relief coming from the dugout. You know, when the with the penalties. Although it wasn't a knockout game, it's to add, insult to injury. Really, it's a zonal system now. But it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. But
absolutely not. Talking about signings as well, Wednesday obviously broke the club record for Adam Reach. Good signing by all accounts, eclipsing Paolo Di Canio's £4.5 million record signing in 1997. Yes, it's taken 19 years for the Owls to break that. Yeah, exactly. But if you Owls fans, Blades fans, do send your tweets in either to myself or to Alan, and may read some of those out if you're happy with the signings. Are you pleased with the business that Defon Chansiri and Kevin McCabe or Chris Wilder and Carlos have done in the transfer window? Are you happy? Let us know. We'll be pleased to hear from you. Gillingham on Sunday for the Blades is a televised game, and it's an international break for Sheffield Wednesday. Gone to the non-league now. Hallam, they got their first home win of the season. The other wins so far this season away from home, I should add, have been 5-1, 4-1, and then they won 4-0 last night. Wow. So goals are plenty for them. Then they've still got last season's top scorer, Michael Blythen. And
is he getting some of those?
He is. There was a hat-trick last night from Jake Curry. So, yeah.
It's a new name on me. I didn't know that one.
Yeah, so they're looking good. Got a great goal difference, as you can imagine, already. Yeah. Sheffield FC, they're not having the best starts in the league. Joint bottom of the table, no wins. But in the FA Cup, they play against Farsley Celtic after beating Ramsbottom last week in one of the preliminary rounds. So just a couple of, I think it's 2 or 3 games away from the first round proper.
Right.
So that'd be exciting stuff. So put all the league stuff behind you and focus on those FA Cup games. Definitely. Exactly. And Sheffield FC ladies, they take on Everton in a friendly. They're 7 matches unbeaten now for them.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, great stuff. Great stuff. That's away from home though, so unfortunately we won't be able to go and see some top class women's football on Sunday. But Sheffield Eagles, well, last week we spoke about the sad stuff that's going on off the field. Hopefully they can find an investor, but they put all that behind them after a stunning 54-24 win over Oldham on Monday night. They welcome Workington Town to the Sheffield Hallam University Sports Park on Sunday. So despite all this kind of stuff, hopefully that's the kind of thing that will attract an investor for the Sheffield Eagles.
Also, James, sometimes in adversity, and Gage here knows all about that, and his teams in places, particularly under Harry Bassett, thrived on that kind of thing, that the world's against us, and Sheffield Eagles are in a crisis, fighting for their existence, not for the first time.
Not for the first
and
time.
the players pull together and produce that sort of result.
Yeah.
You
You have to take your hat off to them, don't they? Under
Yeah.
severe pressure, yeah.
I think that's the thing, it's that you can either go one or two ways, and Mark Aston's a sort of character. Roll your sleeve, get stuck in, forget all that, lads.
He is.
Show
What struck me is they must have had many invitations, not just from me, to speak about this situation. And either they haven't received them or they've ignored them. But in a way, I can understand them being ignored, because they may feel that we're part of the problem somehow and that we've ignored them. It's not true. The local media, I think, has tried to support Sheffield Eagles as much as possible. But there's probably a feeling within the camp, and I'm guessing, that Sheffield doesn't want us. So therefore, it's up to us, just us. And we'll carry on, because they've been really, since that story came out, they've been really, really quiet. They've said what they've got to say, and now they're trying to do it on the field. So.
And it's certainly showing, A couple more Sheffield lines to talk about tonight. Sheffield Tigers, they'll aim to kickstart a late season surge in the Speedway tonight with a big win over Rye House. That's just got underway about 5 minutes ago at Ollerton. Last week's clash against Scunthorpe was rained off. And in the golf, our two Ryder Cup stars, Danny Willett and Matt Fitzpatrick, both in action. Mixed fortunes there. Willett, bogey-free, 5 under par, 65, tied second. Fitzpatrick, well, we won't talk about that. This is his birthday. He's five over par, whisper it quietly.
That wasn't quiet enough.
No, I'm not sure it was.
That was a bit noisy for he's a mate of yours.
I'm sure he's focusing on the Ryder Cup, though, I'm pretty sure. So.
Sure he is. Lee Westwood's in that team as well.
He is, made the wild card, unsurprisingly. But there we are, that exciting stuff.
Excellent. OK, talking of exciting stuff, let's kick off the football discussion this half hour with Keelan Laverick. I am reliably informed it is Keelan and not Kalen, and I know that from a genuine Irishman, Chris Holt of the Sheffield Star, who's no stranger to that sofa over there, who tweeted it the other day. It's Keelan, apparently. So there we are. No, we've always said Kalen, right? So what do you make of that particular signing?
I have to be brutally honest, I don't know him too well as a player. I don't think I've seen him too much. But you can only go on reports you've read and what my man Dan says about him, who is highly acclaimed striker, you say, with a lot of pace.
Good play. He was a good player.
Eye for a goal, so I'm happy.
I think that's probably what, I don't know how you feel, but having watched the Blades a bit this season, I think they're probably lacking a little bit of pace. And, if they can bring that, but then who does he come in for?
Good question.
Who does he come in for? That's what I'm thinking. I don't know what you think about it, Kevin.
Well, he's definitely a central striker. We've determined that, hasn't he? And that's where you can do the most damage, basically, as a central striker, if you've got good pace. He's going to have to play as not the main target striker, but as the secondary striker, getting inside channels, which kind of leaves Billy Sharp in a bit of a limbo.
That's an interesting question there from James, because it is at the moment, Doan and Sharp, you would think, would pick themselves again following the win over Oxford, and Chris Wilder was really the main point he was stressing about the Lavery signing the other night was, I've now got two pacey players who can stretch the opposition and not just one. But you wouldn't be thinking of playing those two together, would you, Doan and Lavery?
No, Doan looks to running behind defenders, and he's always looking to get on defenders' shoulders and to go in behind. You can't have two players like that because it gives the people in midfield and the defence no option, other than to play the ball long all the time. You have to, and defenders get wise to that. So you have to have something else in your team, So it creates good competition for places.
It certainly does. And Billy Sharp's not above being left out. He's club captain, but Chris Wilder's big enough to make that call.
Of course,
if it has to be made. Although he's got a couple of goals, I don't think anybody else has got two yet.
Well, exactly. Well, Billy Sharp's always going to score goals, isn't he? He's always going to be there or thereabouts. He gets on the end of things. But obviously nothing lasts forever, does it? No. And Billy Sharp's now a year older. He's a year less sharp, should we say? Sorry about the pun.
Good pun.
That's just the fact of life. It happens, and and he's not going to get any fitter or any quicker.
And sometimes
So
you can be
we
more
all have to
effective
move on.
if he sits out the odd half or whatever.
These days, we talked about squads. We've signed 12 players. We've got a squad of 25, 26, whatever it is now.
Yeah.
It's all about, you can have 7 subs or however many it is on the bench. It's about impact subs, impact players.
And he's certainly...
If Billy Sharp may find a role this season, not starting games, but maybe, I'm not picking the team or anything, but he may find a role for him just this season, coming on last 20 minutes, last half hour, sniffing around, being quick and lively and trying to get the goals from in that area.
You'd think with his experience as well, though, wouldn't you? Somebody that's played the game to the depth he has. You'd expect that he's able to come off the bench and have that sort of impact, particularly sat back watching a game from the sideline.
On the rare occasions, Dan, that he has been on the bench, he's tended to come on and prove a point. Remember a game against Coventry last year where he was dropped and came on and scored.
Yeah, hit him on the back of the head and went in, but he's a typical.
He'll take it though,
poacher's goal.
He enlivened the game just by being his bustling self as soon as he came on, and he would respond in the right way, I think.
So what do you think of him then, having seen him play? And obviously, I know he's not had the game time that he probably would have liked at Hills.
Well, I liked him. He brought a lot of energy, and I think he'll benefit you. In that sense. Obviously, I'm not sure what he's going to be like after the injury, because he was out for. We were talking earlier on about a year with an injury.
It's set him back quite big time.
So I don't know if he's as sharp as he was, but I remember watching him alongside Connor Wickham, and I think it was the 6-0 win over Leeds at home. At Hillsborough, and we ran the show.
Yeah.
It's always easy to look good at the side of Wickham, isn't it? Obviously, a player of his calibre, but Lavery didn't look out of place in a really strong Championship side that was obviously 6-0 winners against Leeds. So I think he'll bring a lot.
He's obviously got the pedigree, as you say. It'll be a big test to see if he can get his fitness back.
Yeah.
But there's no reason why he shouldn't, to be honest. As long as the medical process has gone through okay, just get his fitness back. Yeah.
He seems a good character as well, from all who know him, that he is very level-headed, and that counts for a lot as well.
Well, of course, we talked about high turnover of players. It's got to be an advantage if you only live down the road and you're in the city of Sheffield. You're not moving house. You're not uprooting your family. You're not missing your friends, etc., etc. Living out of a hotel is not good if you sign from the other end of the country and you've got to live in a hotel.
In terms of adaptability.
So it should be easy to him. If anybody's going to settle him well, surely it should be him.
People make a big deal of this cross-city thing, but we've seen it happen numerous times. I mean, you would have seen it in your time,
we had Carl Bradshaw as a case in point. I think he went Man City in between, and there's a few players who've had clubs in between coming from Wednesday to United or the other way. But it shouldn't make any difference at all, to be honest. No. They're professionals. You just do the job.
Of course, we've already got one. We've already got Leon Clark, who was
exactly.
Wednesdays. And it doesn't. I think now, we're not talking 20, 30 years ago. I bet the average amount of clubs that a professional footballer has now is far greater. And certainly from a fan's perspective, I don't care, really. That he's from Sheffield Wednesday. No. And I'm sure, if Wednesday did sign one of our players, which probably isn't going to happen at the minute, but if they did, I'm sure that the Wednesday fans would feel exactly the same.
If there's anything principal or repeatable.
We'll have a look.
I'm not so sure.
All relevant. So let's talk about David Brooks. And we glimpsed him from afar, from the press box, quite high up the other night, come on as substitute. Young player, kind of came on in a midfield role, took our breath away with on the run, a just instinctive ball that he played behind the defence with the outside of his left foot. Was a fantastic ball. You've seen him play. What's his best position and what's he like?
Well, he's a left-sided player, I think. I think if you're going to use him as a fullback, he'll be an attacking fullback. And he's obviously got the ability and the technique to play left midfield, left wing, shall we say. Yeah. He's highly thought of at Sheffield United. That may have been part of the reason why they allowed Shea to go, because they thought, Shea may be blocking a position that he may fill at some stage in the season.
It might even be too early to say what his best position is.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, if he's just a good footballer with obviously a great left foot, and I would assume he's got the physique and the engine to get up and down the pitch, then yeah, he'll be involved in and around the first team, hopefully.
Well, that was very good to see, and if nothing else came out of the game, that was certainly a positive. You know, and a reasonably creditable 0-0 draw with a very good Leicester City team, albeit a lot of young players. Abdi, now there's a little bit of a, what's the word that we used to use in football for a puzzle? Enigma, so far for Sheffield Wednesday. A much prized summer signing from Watford, Alman Abdi. Very talented player, I think played half the season in the Premier League last year. Not seen him really figure much at his best anyway.
It's all been a little bit weird, really. Sorry, I'm cutting you speaking over you there, Al.
No.
It all seems a little bit odd because I think the reason he moved away from Watford originally was because they were playing him out wide right and he wanted to play in his natural position, which is the middle of the park. And then since he's come to Wednesday, he's been pushed out wide again. So it all, almost, it just seems really quite odd.
Yeah.
And I think if he is a middle of the park player and that's where he wants to play, and Carvalho wants to play him in the centre of the park, they'll let him play because he clearly can play at that level, can't he?
They've got a huge number of central midfield players, proven central midfield players as well. David Jones coming in. Right. Somebody want?
Yeah, we've got Claire Brown on Twitter. Well, I'm happy with the 12 signings Chris Wilder has made at SUFC. We need to get behind him and the team who wear that United shirt. And Vinny, who's a Wednesday fan. Great transfer window for us, kept all our top performance and added some real quality signings. Some fans so negative.
Yeah.
So it seems like both sets of fans are happy, with the odd exception.
Yeah, well, I think it gets overlooked on deadline day, the players that you've kept, which is, it's some achievement for Sheffield Wednesday.
Absolutely, yeah. And as we were saying earlier, Alan, if you think about 5, 6, 7 years ago, keeping hold of players, it just, it wasn't even possible for us because, the financial situations we've been in the past. Yeah. So to keep hold of, 3 or 4 key players as we have done, Forestier, for me, being one of the big ones, obviously we all thought he was going to go when he was missing from training in a few of those games, refused to travel. But keeping all of our players has been a great thing.
It's refreshing to have a chairman who means what he says. When he says a player's not leaving, he's not leaving. He means it. It's not like Nottingham Forest, is it? And the sale of Oliver Burke this week. I was talking to their coach, Philippe Montagnier, the French coach, on Saturday night after they won 3-1 against Leeds, and he virtually told me that the player was staying, but with loads of interest. But he admits it's in his best interest to stay. The club knows that it's a sign of our ambition that we're keeping him. 24 hours later, he's sold for £13 million. And that's the kind of ownership we're getting in football now.
There's a tweet from one of the Notts Forest players, wasn't there, saying, I want to tweet, but I'm so angry I can't. And that spoke volumes for me, because it must be so frustrating. I think it was Henry Lansbury. And if you're in that position and your club's just flogging everyone left, right and centre when they're saying that they're not going to, it must be really annoying.
That's a really intelligent way to tweet your dissatisfaction, isn't it? Clever. To say, I want to say something, but I'm not going to.
It says everything without saying anything.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
He said all he needed to say.
There was another one from Greg Halford of Rotherham, left out of the Rotherham team, who just put refrain. So we all knew exactly what he meant and what he said. Gillingham v Sheffield United, I'm sure that's the kind of fixture that fills every blade with dread.
Oh, it's
especially after last year, 4-0.
Yeah, I didn't go, but I saw the goals on obviously last year's goals, and it was a bit of a horror show, wasn't it? We were totally unaware of what was about to hit us with the Gillingham power football and the long balls in the box and the long throws, and we weren't set up for it whatsoever. So I would imagine they're of a similar ilk this season, Gillingham, and I think we're far more equipped, better equipped to cope with their style of play. I think that it will be nothing new, out the ordinary. So I'm hopeful of going there and picking up at least a point.
Yeah, a point would be decent, wouldn't it?
I think so,
would be
I
reasonably
think so,
good.
yeah.
I don't see it somehow being a TV classic.
No, you question Sky's motives and why they've gone down there on Sunday, but we'll have to accept it and take it. And nobody really cares about the TV. I mean, when the game starts, you just get on with the game. It doesn't really matter whether it's on TV. Yeah. It's handy for some of us who don't want to travel all the way to Gillingham, which is a long old trek, so we can just switch on the TV.
Yeah, gives me a chance to see the Blades as well.
Yeah. Yeah, will you be watching on Sunday after your fight?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Let's finish off with the fight. I'm glad you mentioned because...
Finish off with the fight.
Yeah. A quick knockout. Well, he's gone the 12 rounds here. He's had to go 12 rounds but I thought he'd have finished us off inside the distance, don't you? 12 stone 7, your weight limit, yeah?
12 stone 7's the limit, yep. I'm sat here now, probably 12 stone 6, fractionally just under. I've got to go and eat my tea in a short amount of time. So, yeah, I eat healthy. I've got, I live a good lifestyle. So I'm always in and around my weight. I never really struggle.
You're not wanting to go in several pounds underweight. You wouldn't want to be 12.3 or 12.4.
No.
How can you be absolutely sure to tip the scales at 12.7 like
Just
that?
managing your weight. I'm 31 years old now, and I've been boxing for a long, long time. Amateur and pro. They always say that a professional fighter should know his weight to within a few pounds, and I would, I'd be quite happy to get on a set of scales now at 12 stone 7.
Yeah, what's the kind of thing you won't be eating or drinking?
The takeaway that I'm absolutely dying to eat at the minute. I was sat with my dad today. They're renovating a new gym in Doncaster, which is great for the town. And they were all sat there eating chip sandwiches and bacon and sausage butties earlier today. It was absolutely killing me.
Yeah.
They were saying, "Here, Dan, would you like a look at this sandwich?" I'm going to kill somebody in a minute.
Is that the first thing that you're doing, win or lose?
Yeah, first thing. That's the first thing. Everyone goes, "Oh, do you want a fight?" I'm like, no, don't drink, but please somebody give me some food. So yeah, after Saturday night, if we get finished early enough, me and my fiance will go out and get some tea with our fingers crossed.
She's here, by the way.
She is. She's always
sitting quietly in the corner.
She always sits with me, bless her. She's really supportive. So thanks to her for that.
Okay, right. I take it neither of you are coming across the road anyway, but
no,
you are warmly invited.
Are you how you feeling then? Come on.
I feel good. I feel really, really well. It was interesting because I watched. I've seen Kel tweeting some of the pictures of how he feels now 9 or 10 days out from his fight with Golovkin next weekend, and he just looks, full of life, and that's exactly how I feel. And it's hard to put into words really, because I'm obviously very, very measured. I know the fight's coming up, and I am a little bit nervous, and I am a little bit anxious, and I am a little bit apprehensive. But that's what keeps me on my toes, if you like.
And the excitement.
But I'm very excited.
How do you sleep when you're that excited?
You just got to get your head down and get some sleep. Rest is the most important thing at this stage. All the training's done. It's just going to have to be as freshly prepared as I possibly can for Saturday.
And what about your next fight? You've got a fight in the end of November.
26th of November.
26th of November. So that's quite a quick turnaround.
I think it's 10, 11 weeks, is it? 10 weeks, possibly?
So what do you do in that? What's that? Is that maintaining, or is it letting it drop off for 2 or 3 weeks and then back on it? Or?
In terms of the eating, it won't make any difference at all, because I try to eat clean all year round. But in terms of my training, absolutely, I'll probably have a week where I do as little as possible, and then slowly build it back up and peak. Get myself back into shape. So obviously over the last week I've done no sparring at all, just trying to focus on speed work and sharpening.
You went abroad to Canada, was it?
I was in California. I was in Aliso Viejo in California.
A nice life for these pro boxers,
They work hard.
Yeah.
Training twice a day though, and it's not like I was there for a massive holiday.
I'll have to believe. Well, I'll ask your fiancée at the end of the show,
please do.
Whether she agrees with that or not. I mean, your double life, which you haven't mentioned here, but on his previous appearance in the studio, he's actually a maths teacher as well, which is incredible.
Yeah, the school that I'm at has just achieved the best ever maths results as well this summer, which obviously I've been part of that
school?
team.
Just mention the school.
It's the Durnay LC in Barnsley, a little secondary school. There's only about 1,000 students. It's not a big...
Best ever result?
Best ever result. So
it's to do with you threatening them?
No, absolutely not. Hopefully it's to do with me being there and obviously teaching well, fingers crossed. But yeah, it's been a good year. So
well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Outside the ring, and I hope inside the ring as well on Saturday. Thank you so much.
On Sunday.
Good.
Thank you very much.
So much for coming in. Gage as ever. Thanks very much indeed. And James, thank you for your company. Thanks for those tweets, by the way. We ought to do that more regularly. Be repeated at 11 p.m. tonight. If you miss, it'll be on my YouTube channel as well. Meantime, more guests next week. See you then. Thank you. Bye.